Yes, people, welcome to LFC Red Forever channel. This is your host Fozzy. Of course, we're going to be talking about obviously tactics for the new season, and the transfers that's happening, that's not happening. There's a lot of stuff obviously off the pitch that's happening as well with FSG, and how the preseason went as well. So let's bring in the guest who is a regular in this channel, and he's a scouser. So let's bring him in. What's going on, sir?
Avi, thank you very much for having us back on again.
Of course,
and yeah,
bro.
I'm very happy to be back, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Yes, sir. So obviously, I already talked to you off the record, and we're going to be discussing obviously on the show and all that stuff. The first one we're going to talk about is obviously there's a third time the FSG plane is going to go over Anfield. So let's do this, bro.
So just to recap, the first was United, and the second was Tottenham.
No. We're going to be talking about obviously the FSG plane that's going over.
Yeah,
Anfield.
That's what I mean. The first game it was.
Yeah. It was
the Man United game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the second was the Tottenham game.
Yeah.
Where we were 3-0 up. And ended up only winning by 4-3.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, so what game are they doing it now? First game.
I haven't. All I know, I've heard there's going to be another one. So let me bring the video out, then we could discuss it, brother. Okay.
Okay.
They're doing another one. I've heard from obviously some of the guys that's involved in it. What's your take on it, Harley? Like, that they've been there's back and forth by Liverpool fans. There's some that agree with it. There's a lot that disagree with it. I'm in the middle. Like, I mean, I think like we should do something else other than the thing we did before. I think there should be something along the lines of a protest or something like that. If you have concerns about the owners not spending.
I agree with that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Like something new, innit? Something new that can make that can make it stand out even more. Because FSG don't go to games. Let's just be honest. Like you said to me off air, they only come probably twice in a season, or if we're in a cup final or something along those lines. Yeah, can you see anything like changing for the third time?
Contrary to what people might believe, I guarantee you John W. Henry is essentially, I'm sorry to say, he doesn't give a fuck, does he? He sat there fucking honking Linda's tits, sat there on his big yacht thinking, oh my God, I'm going to make all my billions once I finally sell Liverpool once I've got them to peak value.
Yeah.
It's one of them where I think the only way you can get through, I said from the start that I don't think the plane. I said from the start the plane's pointless. A lot of people didn't agree with me.
I remember.
I feel like a lot of people now who are coming on to the second, third time are going, yeah, well, this is just kind of the same thing. It's not really getting anywhere. I personally think, and I understand, by the way, that not everyone can get to Anfield, and even more people can't get here regularly. Yeah. But I feel like that those that can, who feel passionately about this, should try and do something. Even if it's just a march before the game, or there's just kind of a banner, or just whatever. Do you know what I mean? I just think a little bit more needs to be done than planes and hashtags if people really feel this passionately about it. And I'm someone who's quite on the fence about FSG. I don't particularly like them. I don't particularly think we have to get rid of them at any and all costs.
We need to be careful like how we're going about it. Is that what you mean? Like,
kind of, yeah. But it's a case
no matter what we do, they own the club. I mean, it's their club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like someone coming to your house and telling you to move out. You're not going to move out if someone tells you that, do they? So you got to find a way for them to understand where you're coming from, and vice versa, in my opinion. And
I
if we keep
agree.
if we keep putting planes over Anfield, is it gonna solve anything? I don't know. I don't know, because they haven't listened the first two times. When are they gonna start listening? If you know what I mean, Harley.
I just think it's, in my opinion as well, it's a monumental waste of money. I think Man United,
Mm-hmm.
like the 7-up, like that's our biggest game of the season when we don't have a cup final on. Man United, isn't it? So that was probably, like, I understand why they picked that time. It's like trying to look at it from the other point of view, but again, doing it kind of again and again, where there's kind of nothing happens, does it? Like, I get some people saying after the first time, FSG come out and made a statement, didn't they? But I don't think that has any correlation with that. Some people might disagree with me. Some people might, do you know what I mean? But honestly, if you want to go on into that side of things as well, I honestly think it's a monumental waste of money. And I think you're better off doing a whip round for charities, food banks. There's a food bank that collects outside the ground every home game. I think the money would be much better suited towards going towards something like that. Like, I read on the GoFundMe for this new plane, I even read, it says in the description itself, this, we know that this won't get rid of FSG, but it's a way of people giving, like, making a statement. And I'm thinking, okay, but what's the point in making a statement if it's ultimately not going to do anything? If anything, doesn't that just kind of serve to kind of feed? Isn't it's a kind of just a way of making it about you and how you feel rather than the betterment of Liverpool Football Club?
So
Because
it's all
ultimately,
about
if you're offending
it's all about
thousands,
discussions, isn't it, mate? Like, like, I would love all the fans, the people that sin, the people that shout, and the people in the middle, just to sit down together and talk about it. You know what I mean? And then they could come with a common ground at the end of it. You know what I mean? Once you come with that common ground, you know what I mean, and you'll understand each other even further.
I know some very reasonable people and unreasonable people on all sides of the debate. There's a lot of people who just can't tolerate any kind of positivity when it comes to this ownership in terms of the positives they've done. And then you've got the other people.
You know what I've said, Harley?
Right up John Henry's ass. You need to be somewhere in the middle, don't you?
Yeah, you know what I've said.
Or even if you're not, even if you feel so passionately about this, at least be able to listen to the other side and respectfully debate instead of
spot on. You're 100% right. I think we've just got to be careful how we go on about this. Things like this, like, they creep into the team. You know what I mean? When there's negativity around the club, the players know about it. You know what I mean? So it will affect their performances, if you understand where I'm coming from. And that's the last thing we want. The season hasn't even started yet, but we're already like an R-rate majority of us. And
the main thing that we as fans, so I'm just saying, the main thing that we as fans can do to positively influence the team is to get behind the players. Stop giving them shit. I say this all the time, no matter how well or how shit we're doing. Stop giving them shit on social media, especially if you're putting them in. Stop. Get behind them in the stadium. Do you know what I mean? For those that go to match, don't sit there on your hands when we're not playing well. Fucking get behind them. It's as simple as doing things like that.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Because it's not the player's fault that we're in this situation. You know what I mean? Every player wants to win. They want to win titles, don't they? So you can't really blame them. Like I've said to many people in the past, and especially yourself as well. I said, in order for you to have these arguments, you got to be consistent with your arguments. You know what I mean? Like you said, you can't keep giving stick to players. But like when we was chasing the quad, when we was challenging for the title, you wasn't saying that. You know what I mean? You was like all behind them. You was all like giving them, the support they deserve. But now, like, all of a sudden, because they're not playing well, which is not their fault, they run themselves to the ground for you. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't get Premier League, you wouldn't get Champions League, you wouldn't get FIFA World Cup, you wouldn't get all that trophies if it wasn't for these players that run themselves to the ground. What do we always ask for, Harley? Like, as a Liverpool fan, win, lose or draw. That's it. That's all we ask for. That's real Liverpool fans.
I've seen some fairly average, to say the least, players play for Liverpool who have come out and gone around. You know what, mate? I fucking like you. You might be a little bit crap, but you put 100% in. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm trying to think of some examples. He was shit. No, he was lazy and shit. Not Paul Konchesky. But you know what? Certain players like your Fabio Aurelios of the world, even your David and Goggs of the world, your Ryan
Yeah.
Babels.
Yeah.
I would say Dirk Kuyt, but he was actually really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's players like that, do you know what I mean? Who aren't maybe world class in quality, but you look and think, you know what, trying the best here, trying the best to do what they can. And I feel like we have a team full of players like that. There's not one player who in the squad currently who I look at and think, fucking hell, you're lazy, or you're unbelievably rubbish.
No.
Like a lot of people have chosen Jordan Henderson, haven't they, as the scapegoat, but
Scapegoat, yeah.
and people like to rewrite history, and this is what annoys me more than anything, when people rewrite history and go, "Oh, he's never been good. He's held us back. We would have won more without him." People weren't saying that when he was winning Player of the Year. The year we got 99 points and absolutely stomped the league. People weren't. Nearly no one was saying that.
Yeah, you're 100% right, because at the end of the day, he gave it his all. You know what I mean? And that's what we asked for. When the players ain't what they used to be anymore, you don't just like have a go at them like that. You need to support them through dark stages of their career, and then the club will decide if they stay or go. I mean, but if you're personally attacking them, going to Twitter and doing personal attacks, especially your captain, you know what I mean, that lifted all those trophies. I don't know what the support is about anymore, mate. I don't know what the support is about anymore.
I feel like certain people kind of have to have someone, don't they, that they kind of in the blame. I feel like now that Henderson's gone, it's starting to spread out a little bit more. There's no Henderson and Milner anymore, so I feel like Robertson's getting the brunt of it, which I think is extremely unfair. I don't know if we're going to cover that throughout the video, but I think it's extremely unfair how much stick Andy Robertson's getting.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then you've got certain players like Harvey Elliott, who's a young lad. Do you know what I mean? He's 20 years old, and people are turning around going, "He's shit. He's weak. He's too slow. He'll never." Yeah. And I'm just thinking, how many players in this squad were any good at the age of 20? I had the exact same logic about Curtis Jones. Everyone laughed at me, and look at how he's ended up now. And I know a lot of people turning around going, "Oh, Jones probably isn't good enough to play the six," and that's fine. In fact, I probably agree. I want to sign a six. I really do. I think that's the most important thing we can possibly do over the next couple of weeks, or couple of days, whatever. But a lot of people's opinions on Jones over the past 6 to 12 months have flipped entirely. I've always been on his side, but a lot of people's opinions have flipped entirely, and I'm very happy to see it.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know why I'm frozen, but okay.
Yeah, I can still hear you and everything.
Yeah, so Jurgen Klopp has been was it 2016? Is it 2015? 2016?
It was October 2015 he came in.
Yeah. So he's been here that long, mate. In your opinion, like, is he getting the support that he deserves, like, from these owners, bro? Like you said, you agreed to a certain extent with the people that's FSG out and then FSG in and all that stuff. What worries me about Jurgen Klopp, bro? Like, he keeps coming out in the press saying like, we're gonna get this, we should get this, we players wise and all that stuff to improve the squad and all that stuff, but it never comes through. How long can he take this? And if he leaves the club, where do you stand with the ownership, bro? Like, if he just says, you don't share the same ambitions as me, I've been trying to tell you, like, we need these type of players, we need it, we need this, we need that, and I've worked to the limit of my ability, and I can't go on like just turning players that's average into world-class players on a regular basis, because even when we're at the top, we're not signing the right players anyway. So how long, what would you say if he walks away? Because that potentially can happen, bro. You never know. Know. Like, I've seen great managers walk away in the past, and it surprised me. I mean, we were in our heights as well. Kenny in his first stint, everybody talks about the Hillsborough disaster. That's why he walked away. No, but even on the pitch, a lot of fans used to like complain to him, like, why isn't he starting Peter Beardsley and all that stuff? Certain players that became out of favor for him. Like, even though we won the league, I mean, in his final season. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. Fans will always, have a go at you as a manager and all that stuff. But with Klopp, he's done so much in such a short time, bro. And he turned us from doubters to believers. How long can he go on for, man? Like, until he gets.
I personally think the earliest we could possibly see him leave, I know you say anything can happen. I just personally can't see a world where no matter how little he gets back or how much he gets back, I can't see him leaving before the end of his contract. I feel like he's the kind of man who would honour that commitment. He made that commitment, and he said himself he made that commitment because he feels he wants to improve Liverpool, and he wants to build the future. And I feel like that's Klopp's kind of thing. I feel like he's never particularly been someone who'll turn around and demand all of the resources in the world. If you look at his track record at Mainz, Dortmund, Liverpool, that's not. So I can't see him walking out over it. But that's not to say I wouldn't like to see him be given a little bit more. We don't know the full reasons why not everything we have desired has come in.
Do you believe? But the thing is, Harley, do you believe in this thought of like the fan base saying like he controls everything? I don't believe that. I don't think he controls the transfers and everything else and everything. Like he hasn't got full control. He has certain control, yes, from his team and all that stuff. But the way people talk about it, he chooses the transfers. He chooses who's in and out. He chooses, the tactics. He chooses, everything like in a football club. Apparently, he chooses it. You know what I mean? The stands and all that stuff getting built.
It's that make people just jump.
At the end of the day, he's employed by FSG. He's FSG's their employee. You ask for things at work, but you're not guaranteed them, and you don't make the final decision.
It's not even that. It's people. Like people will jump on any bandwagon because it was about 12 months ago. If I want to take you back, everyone was turning around and going, "Well, Jurgen Klopp's losing control. It's Pep Linders who's doing this." Not looking at him putting this book out and looking at him. Do you know what I mean? People will jump onto absolutely anything, mate. We've got scouts there. We've got sporting directors there. Any extra control that Jurgen Klopp's earned that an average football manager doesn't have, he's earned it on merit. And because he is simply, in my opinion, the best in the world at what he does.
The thing I want to look to, do you think he's getting the support from the owners that he deserves or not?
Yeah, I was gonna, you did mention this before, and I was gonna circle back to it. I honestly feel as though, like, I understand where people are coming from saying he needs to be given more or he should be given more. I was to say, we as supporters don't know the full going ons behind it. We don't know if it's to an extent Klopp holding back and going, assessing his options, or if he's trying to play. You don't know what's going on, but I can understand why from the outside looking in, people would think that, and I also somewhat agree with it. I would love to see Jurgen Klopp be able to go out and just
spend the cash,
just get whatever he wants, but what he actually wants, we don't know. Obviously, we know he wants a Bellingham, but was it a case of did he change his mind because he thought other areas needed to be built on? Because honestly, in my opinion, I wouldn't swap McAllister and Szoboszlai for Bellingham.
No, man.
I think we've spent the money better.
I think we spent it wisely.
We're sorted with Yates now. I feel like our eights were the biggest problem, and now that's sorted. But now we've lost our defensive midfielder unexpectedly, and it's hard to account for that.
Yeah,
I understand that, and I sympathise a lot with the situation the club has there. But it needs to be sorted out. But once we get that sorted out, then that's the midfield done, and that's the thing that a lot of people have been worried about, including myself, for probably as long as the last
I still think that obviously our players coming in. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's just one player coming in. I think we need like 3 players at least, like 2 central midfielders, like a defensive midfielders. Two to someone who's established player. Someone's got potential. We're going for the potential so far, but I want an established player as well. And I need a centre back. I mean, I can't trust Matip anymore. You know what I mean? And Gomez. You see them in pre-season, bro. They're struggling pretty badly. Really, really badly at that as well. But yeah, let's go to the next subject, which is obviously transfer. So let's talk about this, bro. Let's talk about this. So there's a 4th bid incoming for Lavia. It could be the final one, and it could be going through the door. Apparently, they played a cup game the other day, and he wasn't part of the squad. So I think this is further in the line now than we first thought. I think he's coming. I honestly think that. As a player, describe him to me, bro, because I know you study these players. Off obviously the streams and that.
Always Yeah, he's good for his age, especially his age. You've got to keep in mind that he's still a teenager. He was probably a bright spot in an awful Southampton team.
Yeah.
A performance that stood out to me was Arsenal in the league, in that game where they were 3-1 up. They subbed them off, and the whole thing collapsed. And Arsenal managed to get a draw out of it.
Yeah.
But watching him absolutely control things at the Emirates, they were top of the league at the time, Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he can improve a lot. I would like to give a shout out to someone on Twitter who does stats and graphs. Evan, his name is. For the life of me, I can't remember his at, and I'm really sorry about that. But there's a guy called Evan, American guy, really, really, really knows his shit. Like, really knows his shit. And he's done a graph of under 23 defensive midfielders, which was essentially, anyone who plays Football Manager will know what these graphs look like. So in the top right corner, you've got the most accurate passes and the kind of the most offensive duels won. And the bottom left, you have the least. For under 23s, there were only the handful of
Evan,
players
the American guy. He's talking about Evan, the American guy that's on Chris Collins' channel. Yeah.
The only players that matched Lavia in the top right corner metric were Aurelien Tchouameni, Moises Caicedo, Kefren Shoram, and there was someone else. Really, really good names we've been linked to, top class defensive midfielders. Yeah. And you've got to keep in mind with the pass accuracy thing as well. Yeah. Southampton wouldn't have had amazing pass accuracy. He's got it in his locker to be able to play it. But it's just because, like, he's Man City. He was handpicked by Guardiola. Yeah, he was at Man City. This is the level we're talking about. Handpicked by Guardiola out of hundreds of players at Belgian football tournaments. Yeah. Like, this is the level we're talking with this kid, and he'll only improve with the amazing coaching and the amazing players around him. I'm really, really excited. I understand in theory we probably are overpaying, but
good point. Because from what I've heard, the reasons. Well, listen, we've done Southampton dirty in the past. Let's just be honest with the Van Dijk deal. With the deals, we announced it before we even actually signed the player. As you know about James Pearce, like that was a horrendous time. We had to pay like 75 million instead of 50 million for Van Dijk. So I understand where Southampton is coming from. But what people need to understand as well, in regards to this player, Southampton have to give a percentage to Man City. Yeah, that's what people don't understand. This is why they want. Yeah, so they're not getting a lot of money for him. They're not getting the full 50 for him. So
to be absolutely fair, though, the counteract to that is they did get him cheap.
Cheap. But Man City knew his potential. They knew like how good he's going to be. You don't put that clause on his contract if you didn't know how good this player is going to turn out eventually. You know what I'm saying?
And they have a buyback that comes into play eventually as well for 40. Yeah. And that's not obviously including any sell-on, so it'll just be 40 million straight to Southampton. Yeah. But yeah, I understand that side of the argument. What I would say also is the player wants to leave. Do you know what I mean? He said that, Southampton are kind of taking the piss a little bit. And I get some people to say, well, we're taking the piss. We should just pay the money. But at the same time, Southampton are a championship side now with selling a 19-year-old, an unhappy 19-year-old. Yeah. I personally feel we're giving them more than enough money, even with the 20% took off. But I also understand, I'm not angry at Southampton because I understand in their situation why they're doing what they do. Yeah, I'm not trying to be like, we're entitled to come in and take them because we're Liverpool and we can do what we want, because I know that's not how it works. I had someone call me entitled over that, which I found quite funny because they totally missed me point. But yeah.
No, big up Harley, man. That's why I have you on, bro. Like, with me, like, I don't see people any different. Liverpool fans are Liverpool fans to me. If they agree with me or disagree with me, we still can talk. I mean, it doesn't. We should not like out each other like we do in certain social media places as well. So if you have an issue with someone, just message him privately or her privately and just talk about it. You know what I mean? And you come to a common ground at the end of the day. Victor says FSG, yeah, so am I, mate. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think a good chunk fan base are definitely.
Yeah, JK says, "Hope you well, bro." At Fozzy, you never walk alone. We're all good, bro. We're all good. We're all good. Thank you very much for asking. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for asking. Yeah, so the next one, obviously, we're running through it because we've got a lot to talk about the tactics that we're gonna use next season, which I'm looking forward to, bro. I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to. This player, bro. Just let me know what's your stance on him, and we'll talk about him. I'll put my point of view as well. With Moses Caicedo, bro, like I'm the biggest fan. When we first met. I told you about him. Like I said,
Yeah.
he suits us to a T, man. Like in that DM role, whatever number 8 role,
Yeah.
he can play it perfectly. And if Liverpool want to challenge for a league title, I'm not saying it's over. I mean, anything can happen. I've seen FSG surprise me loads of times in the past. When we signed Thiago, all of a sudden Jota comes through the door with him. You know what I mean?
It's literally
So
like wasn't it? Cody
yeah,
Gakpo's another one that absolutely
nobody knew about
stunned
that.
everyone.
Nobody knew about that. So with
And
this
that's
player,
why, mate, I can't bring myself to fully start shitting me pants until it starts coming to the end of the window.
what's your
Do
stance
you know
on
what I
him
mean?
as a
A lot
player,
of
bro?
people-
Like I know you like.
Caicedo, I think he's excellent. I do think he's excellent. I think just about everyone who will watch him will say he's excellent. His versatility as well. We don't really play with a box to box now, but he can do that. He really suits the defensive midfield role. I even think he can play understudy to Trent. He has played as an inverted right back for Brighton before.
Yeah.
There's one big issue, isn't it? And that's the money that Brighton are going to ask for, especially considering we've took McAllister off them for 35 million, which is buttons compared to his value. And I understand why Brighton are holding out. I personally don't think he is in a world where we can go and get Lavia for 45, 50 million. Sorry to break this, by the way. Wolves have just appointed Gary O'Neill as the Bournemouth one. I just wanted to break that to you.
That's good because he used to manage our youth team, you know. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I just thought I've just seen that on Sky Sports now. I thought I'd let you know.
Don't you think it's a bit harsh the way Bournemouth just got rid of him after the way like he saved them? It's a strange one.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit mad. Sorry, that's totally off topic. I just thought.
No, it's okay. It's okay, bro. Listen, he used to coach our youth players, didn't he? So it's within your right, man. We can't argue about that.
But staring back on, I think in a world where we can get Lavia for 50 million compared to Caicedo for 85, I'd probably rather go for Romeo Lavia. That's just my opinion.
You know what I said? You know what I said about... No, continue, bro. Go.
I'm just saying that's just my opinion. I think it's better value for money, especially in a world where we are possibly looking at a new centre-half or an extra midfielder. I personally think 85 million, he's a great player. I just don't think he's worth that in a world where we can go.
Do you know what I said, bro? Like in regards to players and all that stuff, like especially with Caicedo and that. Liverpool have done smart businesses in the past. They've done it recently with these. I didn't know Szoboszlai was interested. Did you know we had interest in Szoboszlai? I didn't know that.
No, I rate him immensely as a player, but I was just surprised that we went for him.
He's quality, bro. I think a lot of people are sleeping on these two transfers as well, bro. I think McAllister and Szoboszlai are going to be phenomenal for Liverpool Football Club.
Mate, some of the compared to last season, the options we have as number 8 now are incredible. That was the number one weakest position that we had last season, and now it's totally like the depth we've got there now. Like
as I said, like off the screen, like
you've got Jones.
Everybody was looking for a replacement for Gini Wijnaldum. Well, you got McAllister there now. Now you can see he could play the same as Gini Wijnaldum, which is a defensive role as well as a number 8, and he could play as a number 10 as well. He could play out wide as well, which people don't know about.
I think Szoboszlai is going to be the Naby Keita that we really wanted to get as well.
Yes,
I think he is going to be our equivalent of Kevin De Bruyne. I really think that's the level. I love them both, and I think they're both fantastic. Unpopular opinion, maybe. I am slightly more excited for Dominic Szoboszlai than McAllister if I had to choose one. But I think they're both incredible, absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see them both play for Liverpool.
What I like about Szoboszlai, I don't know if you noticed, bro. Like, although his technical ability is not shining through at the moment, that will come with time. I know that. His work rate is amazing, bro. Like he runs up and down. You see him like sweating. You know, his shirt is just full of sweat. That's what the commitment that Liverpool need. They need players like that. So to me, we're reverting back to the old days, as well as with quality on top of that as well. Like what Klopp said in the summer. Sorry, in preseason, he said, "I want to control games. I want to be a possession-based team. I want to be like counter-attacking team. I want to be getting the ball back quicker and things like that." So he's got that, especially with the front three. Like if you look at our front three, we've got too many players there. So
we've got so many options.
In certain games, like we struggle with the deep line defending, or teams that's more control of the ball. We've got certain players that can play in those games. You know what I mean? So we could like get more benefits out of it.
Gakpo's someone as well. We can just drop into that position and use.
He played number 8 a few times in preseason, and look how good he looked.
He played in the he played there in the odd game, the Brentford game at home last season. Yeah. He played there, and I thought he was fantastic.
And the Real Madrid game away, he played there. Remember?
I believe that was
Yeah, so it shows like we can actually, utilize players. That's the most important thing about this team. Like if you suffer huge injury blows, then you got players that could actually step in and do their bit. And I think it's going to be a big season for Darwin Núñez as well. I know a lot of people have their doubts against that poor kid. I don't know why they keep having a go at him. If you look at him at preseason, he scored the goals. His movement is better. His passing is better. Even Klopp said, like, when he came back for preseason training, he's speaking English to people. So he's trying his best to, be part of the team. And all he needs is just the support of the actual fans. You know what I mean? Instead of like giving up on him like we normally do. Yeah. So yeah, listen, with Caicedo, I'm not sleeping on it. Like Chelsea is not getting in the way. I think Chelsea are getting investigated in a way for their transfers recently.
Actually should be.
Yeah, so
some of the stuff they've been doing in the market's ridiculous, mate.
Yeah, so they have their own issues, so they might not even sign Caicedo. But what I've said about Caicedo, bro, is why don't we put a player going the other way? As well, I mean, if we have a player going the other way, it would reduce the transfer, and then probably sign him for 80 million or 75 million or something like that. Because there's a few players that's at Liverpool that's never going to play, you know what I mean, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You could, if you want to reduce a transfer, we could go like that. Like the Lavia one, I'm a bit confused about the Lavia one. Every single time we're doing like 1 million here, 1 million there. Like before we tried to sell Henderson and Fabinho, we were still going for Lavia, wasn't we? We still like tried to get him for 35 million or something like that. But now they got more money in the kitty. Why don't they just get that over the line now? I don't understand. You're already willing to spend 40 million. Now you got what an extra what is it 52 million with the Henderson and Fabinho sell. So why don't you just try be smart with your transfers? So now you could get 2 players instead of 1. If you get what I'm saying, Harley.
Yeah, that's, to be honest, what I imagine we'll do, because I think we were always going to get Romeo Lavia regardless of went the other way. But now I feel like we can kind of spread the funds a bit. I personally feel as though the Fabinho and Henderson thing doesn't factor into this deal. I feel like we're looking at this deal in isolation and then looking to use the money for them to put towards the other signings we could possibly make. Or even if that doesn't manage to happen, I can see us being, say we don't get the extra players we need on top of Lavia, I can see us being bang in the market again in January.
100%.
If we don't, which I honestly, I could see a world where Lavia is the only signing we bring in. I could, but then I think if that happens, we'll be bang straight on again in January.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what I was going to alert to next. So let's talk about this one. So, 7 players gone. Only 2 in. Like you just spoke about before. Obviously, I put them on the screen. So, if it's just like the 2 in, where do you stand, bro? Like in regards to players and all that stuff. Like if we're not gonna get Lavia, just say that, and we only got we got rid of
So
7 players.
say the window ends right now.
Yeah,
This
now.
second.
That's it. Yeah, right now.
I am a little bit worried. I can't lie. I'm a little bit worried. Just because I feel as though having someone who's a natural in that position, is quite important.
I miss Melbourne.
No, it is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's no two ways about it. I understand that we probably have players there that can do a job, such as you can probably stick McAllister there, you can probably Jones, but like that's, you want a specialist, don't you? You want someone like Lavia to come in, and you would be. I think that would impact our ability to title challenge. And I think if we get Lavia in, I genuinely believe we can do a title challenge. A lot of people might be watching this thinking I'm an idiot, but that's what I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, believe. I believe a lot of people, even our own supporters, are underrating what we can possibly do. But I feel like that kind of possibility sort of becomes a more distant possibility if we don't have that specialist defensive midfielder in. Like
we're gonna discuss like tactics anyway. Of course, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you without Lavia and with Lavia. And I mean, the tactics we're gonna talk about for next season. But I worry, mate, if we don't get the right players in, to support these players, that the lack of ambition sets in on a lot of fans' heads. You know what I mean? Because
it won't be a head scratcher. I often look at. I have utter trust and faith in Klopp and the recruitment team. So it's more often than not, you'll hear me turn around and go, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this. I think they know what to do. But I find it extremely hard to sit there and be able to defend not having any sort of natural defensive midfielder in the team. I understand why we're in the situation we are. It was Fabinho and Henderson leaving was so unexpected. And prior to leaving, we were in a situation where it was 2 in and 5 out.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I was kind of okay with that. Because if you look at who the 5 are, it's Roberto Firmino, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, James Milner.
Yeah.
And who was the 5th? Who was the 5th?
I think
Arthur Melo?
Arthur Melo, and then you got Nat Phillips is on his way out as well. Don't forget about that. So there's. So
I look at that in the context of you've got to think about how many minutes them players were getting.
So that's the only 4. Then you add on Fabinho and Henderson on top of that. I mean,
so I think of the context of how many minutes. Arthur Melo played 1 game off the bench, 13 minutes. So that to me,
Harley, with Arthur Melo, who chose that transfer? Who actually got? I don't think it was Klopp because he hasn't played him. Who the heck got that player for the door?
I just think he was very unfortunate, Arthur Melo, because I am a big fan of him as a player. I looked at him at Barcelona and thought, I loved him at Barcelona. I thought he was fantastic, but it was just a case of it was a bit of a panic buy, and he got injured as well, I believe, didn't he? Jordan,
he did,
traded. So he was just unfortunate. I believe in an alternative universe, I like to think he could have had a bit of an impact and been like a good stopgap for us, but it just wasn't meant to be. That was alleged. I don't know if he did actually have STDs, Arthur Melo.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't think it.
It could be true, could not. I don't want to get sued by Arthur Melo for defamation, so I'm going to say on the record now, as far as I'm aware, Arthur Melo does not have and has never had any STDs. Please don't sue me, Mr. Melo. But yeah, carrying on. The views of have nothing to do with LFC Red Forever. That's, please don't sue us. Anyway, back on to what we were saying. Again, I look at it in the context of minutes. Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain constantly injured, so they were probably together
and earning a lot of money at the same time as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Milner coming in, like he'd be the kind of fella who come in, shut the match off, play the odd shift, but.
Yes, sir.
Other than, he did. He was fantastic against Man City. Liverpool legend James Milner. Firmino, for me, is the only player who was getting substantial minutes that we're losing, and I personally feel we replaced him before he left. I feel like we were very proactive with that and getting Cody Gakpo in. So I think the whole 2 players in 7 out, especially when it was 5 out, was a little bit overstated because I look at minutes rather than bodies. But that defensive midfield position for me, it needs to be sorted. And I think just about everyone can agree that needs to be sorted.
100%, bro. 100%. If we don't sort it out, then I don't even blame the FSG app people for being irate as well, man. Because you got to respect the team as a whole. You know what I mean? Even if like the likes of Gary Neville is saying, you heard him in the overlap when he said the problem with Liverpool.
I've seen quotes and I've seen clips.
Yeah.
I
watched it. He said the problem with Liverpool owners, like they're still stuck on the £50 million transfer market when everybody else has moved above that, and this is what's gonna probably kill them at the end. But then again, you could say they're building a stadium, and once they build that stand, I think they're gonna go to Kenny Dalglish stand after that, aren't they? I think that one's gonna go.
That's what they're thinking about. Yeah, they're thinking about because there's a big kind of car park, isn't there? They're going to move into, I think. And that upper Kenny absolutely needs redesigning, by the way, because as someone who's like 6'1", 6'2", I have no leg room at all. Sort it out, John Henry. I'm banging my shins on the seat every time I get upper Kenny. It's the worst place to sit in the ground. The atmosphere is crap and it hits me shins.
It's very bad up there, man. I sat there last time I went. I sat there and I was the only one shouting, really. I was the only one shouting. So
at least the upper main gets up for it sometimes because of the £9 ticket sales you get in some sections.
You get locals here and there in the stands, in all the stands, singing the songs on that stuff. But it's sad when the people are sitting there, they don't know the songs. You know what I mean? So you can't really blame them because
what's just as bad as well. And I will say this: it's not just the non-locals. What you get some miserable alpha who just sit there and just don't bother and
don't bother like, anything. Yeah, even when we score a goal, they don't even jump up. Even when we score a goal.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm just thinking, like, what's the point in going?
You're wasting a ticket for someone else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
if you're going to be that miserable, just watch it in the pub, I say. But
exactly, bro. But yeah, so as I alluded to, with the 7 players and 2 in, if it's like that, then I think I'm just gonna go mad about it, bro. I'm not.
I won't be happy either. I think Klopp. I tend to be quite well balanced and try and see the positives and things. But even I find it hard to spin that into a positive.
I mean, like, look at our rivals, bro. Like, they're strengthening in every department. Look at Arsenal. They just signed that goalkeeper. Is that Rayner? The one from
David Raya from Brentford,
from Brentford. So they strengthened even the bench, bro. Even they got players in every position 3 times over, bro. It shouldn't, like, and we haven't got more than 2. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like the way the drop off is crazy. But like Klopp said during preseason, trust us. We know what we're doing. He said that before to me, and I believed in him. I'm gonna still believe in him in regards to that. But the transfer window is not closed. You know what I mean? So let's just see if something comes through the door. Let's just see that. So the next one we're gonna be talking about is the tactics for the new season. What formations have you got for me, Mr. Harley? So let's talk about this. I've got a few for you as well.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do this. Wait.
Okay.
So, let me get it on there, man. If it comes on there, I don't know. Oh, no, it's not good enough. There you go. Bigger one than that. Big one. There you go. This is obviously the players that played the other day. How do you see it, Harley? What? Let me put everyone on the side. Oh, wrong place. Let me put everyone on the side. So, if you had a choice, I'm gonna leave the goalkeeper because we know who the goalkeeper is, and I think the whole world
Adrian, obviously.
Yeah, the whole world knows who the goalkeeper is. I don't need to.
Adrian San Miguel.
Yeah, Adrian, definitely, 100%. So, if you in the ideal world, say we got no transfers coming in, I'll put the transfer after that. Who's your right back? I don't see any right backs coming in the near future, other than the one we already got. I think I'm getting fed up with the actual inverted role now, because I think we got found out. You know what I mean? I honestly got fed up with it. It doesn't like make me feel with confidence when I see that now, because a lot of players attack the empty space now, and Konate comes out of place and he looks terrible. You know what I mean? So in a real world, who's your right back? Obviously, I know who it is, but you could say it.
It's Alexander-Arnold, isn't it? I think it's very hard to argue against it. I've heard the odd shout for stick him in midfield and have Joe Gomez play there.
So what's the point of Szoboszlai and McAllister then? What's the point if he's going to play midfield? What's the point buying these players?
That's what I mean. I think I think people are thinking play him as a defensive midfielder, but I don't.
He played there in pre-season. Did look good.
Yeah. It's not his position, is it? He's done all right on the ball, but it's not his position. I'm the opposite to you in terms of I love the inverted, and I think that's the future, and I think that's going to only improve once we bring in like the defensive midfielder to suit it, because that's what I think we need to make it all clear.
I'll take it.
But whether it's inverted or whether it's out wide, Alexander-Arnold's got to be the right back for me.
I think he'll be fine as a right back. I honestly think that, because I'll tell you why. This is what he was getting as a right back in the previous obviously seasons. This is what he was getting in previous seasons. Two people going at him, because they were, one obviously is attacking him to get the crosses in the box, and the other one is obviously stopping his like talent, which is passing from the back. So now with Szoboszlai and McAllister in the team, there won't be two people looking at him. They'll be like spread it out, if you know what I mean, on the pitch, because there's too many dangers from other avenues, if you know what I mean, other places. So
as
now,
well as the track and back ability as well.
Yes. So now he could concentrate going forward, up and down that obviously wing.
Yeah, and I feel we'll have more possession, so we'll have less.
Yes. So it'll be more easier for him. It'll be more easier for him now. The full focus of like doubling up on him ain't there anymore. You got to think about it, people. Like, this is how football is. When the creativity comes from one side or two sides, it's always going to be people double up on them, because the midfield that we have before Szoboszlai and McAllister wasn't creative enough, were they, Harley? They were hard working, but creativity didn't come from them. It was coming from the fullbacks.
There was flashes of it. There's
flashes, but you wouldn't say that they are Szoboszlai and McAllister, are they? Let's just be honest.
This is like another level.
Another level, you know what I mean? So now, like, he could play his right back position like he used to, in my opinion. Left back is left back. Do you prefer Tsimikas or do you prefer Robertson? Because a lot of as you wanted to discuss Robertson, what's the fans' outtake on him, bro?
I think a lot of people are being way too harsh on him. I still think he is, whether it's in the new system or we start to look something like the old, I think it's almost undeniable that we will be using the whole inverted thing with the back three, as people are calling it. I don't personally see it as much of a back three as other people might.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Robertson either way, no matter what we're doing. It's Robertson. I think Tsimikas is underappreciated. I think he's a fantastic backup. I've personally really enjoyed seeing when Trent's come off. We played Gomez right back, Tsimikas left back, and had Tsimikas invert, and Gomez kind of play as the kind of right back, and I've enjoyed that. I think Tsimikas.
I like that. That looked good too.
Look, I like Tsimikas, but it's Robertson for me.
So what's your take on Robertson anyway? Like, they're saying he's underperforming at the moment, like to the quality that he's set in the past. As I said in the beginning of this, obviously formation that we're putting up. Once the focus goes from them next season, I think you're gonna see the old Robertson and you're gonna see the old Trent now, like with creativity sense and defending sense as well. We'll just have to take it easy on him. I mean, you supported these players when they were at their prime, at the peak of their powers, and support them now as well, because they're not old players, is it? One is 24, 25, one is 27, 28. So they've still got a long way to go, like to get back to their best, as long as the right team is around them as well. You know what I mean, Harley? Now they're getting the right team around them, they might perform to the standards
that's what I'm saying. I know this is a team that we're kind of building without signings, but I feel that profile of defensive midfielder is so important to get the
Yes,
best
sir.
out of Andy Robertson's
Yes, sir.
game. Another factor is a lot of people talk about this back three is in a 3-2-2-3, and yes, to an extent, it is
But
that.
we'll discuss that. Don't worry, we'll discuss that. We're gonna do different formations like during the seasons for certain games, and I'll discuss with you, you know, with the deep line defending teams, or the teams that's counter attacking, the teams that's on us constantly. What formations we could play and all that stuff. So
What
who's
I'm
your go
just getting at is that he has a lot more of an attacking duty than a lot of people are led to believe. By that's all I'm going to say on that for now. We're going to move on to that.
Right centre back.
It's Konate. I think Konate's earned his place, hasn't he?
Oh,
I think Konate cemented his place over the last 12-18 months. Yeah. It's obviously
do you think with Konate, there's a lot of criticism around him because he's not performing as he should? With me, I don't think he will ever be that leader that people want him to be. I think he's a supporting defender, like someone with someone like with the talents of Van Dijk, someone like that has that kind of talents. Konate can support you with pace and power and all that stuff, but he's always gonna need an intelligent defender next to him that's gonna, you know, boss him around and tell him where to go and all that stuff. That's what
he reminds me a lot of a young John Stones. He does remind me a lot of a young John Stones in terms of someone who's got all the ability, but maybe lacks not even the confidence, but just kind of does better when he has someone more established,
someone competent with him. And
that was a problem with John Stones' early days at City. And now if you look at the player he's become, he's developed into more of a leader.
And not only that, it's the trust. It's the trust as well, Harley, isn't it? Because the manager persisted with him, didn't he? Like in normal circumstances, managers will just get rid of players like that, wouldn't they? But at least the manager believed in you all these years, and he gave you the opportunity to, you know, develop as a player. And with that trust, you want to pay him back, like for trusting you in the past. That's what John Stones has done. Now you look at John Stones, there's hardly a mistake in him, bro. There's hardly a mistake. I don't see anything.
And any kind of things that need to be ironed out with him with Konate, you can point to his age. I think he's 22, 23 for the centre half, especially. That's so young, and I think people forget how young he is because of how good he is. I think he's ridiculously good, and he's only going to improve. In terms of reaching Virgil van Dijk levels, I think it's possible that I could live to the age of 100 and never see a defender for Liverpool as good as Virgil van Dijk. The man's ridiculous.
Man, I've already said that, and a lot of people argued with me. I think he's up there with Hansen, man. I honestly think that. I mean,
I wasn't old enough for Alan Hansen. The only thing that I can possibly compare him to, in terms of the wider Premier League rather than just Liverpool, is a John Terry and a Rio Ferdinand. And for me, in terms of pure what he's like at his peak, he's surpassed them both.
100%. Listen, if I say Hansen,
I'm not going to pretend to be old enough to remember Alan Hansen. Look at his youthful face. Do you really think I was kicking him out when Alan Hansen was? No.
You know, listen, mate. Listen, I wasn't even born when Yates was playing. You know what I mean? And Emlyn Hughes and, you know, all these players. But I still like studied Liverpool in like.
No, I know. Obviously,
looking at them. But I'm not going to say Thomas Smith. You know what I mean? And all those defenders. I wasn't born, but. Obviously, I was born when they come into the tail end of their career.
If I remember them like the old generation.
Listen, Alan Hansen is the greatest Liverpool defender, in my opinion. I mean, some people might say, you know, Ronnie Yates. Some people might say Emlyn Hughes. You know, players like that. The crazy horse, Emlyn Hughes.
I think people at my age are always going to lean towards Van Dijk, aren't they? Because that's the best that we've seen.
Mate, he's got everything. He's got everything, bro. Like, what is he missing? What's missing from his game when he was fully fit, bro? What? He's got pace, power, aerial ability, passing ability. You know what I mean? He's got everything in it that you need in a defender. You know what I mean? So, if you've got everything and he's competing for Ballon d'Ors on top of that as well, the only defender at Liverpool to compete for Ballon d'Or. I don't remember any other defender to compete for Ballon d'Ors. So. There you go. So but Hansen was special, bro. Very, very special. Very, very calm on the ball. Very good attacking from the back as well. Running at with the ball like Matip does, but with quality. That's how Hansen was, bro. And he was a proper leader, bro. Proper leader. You'd have enjoyed him. I love Alan Hansen. Come on, man. Jockey, man. Come on, bro. I only started watching it when Lawrenson was coming to the tail end of his career, because they used to say Lawrenson and Hansen are the best partnership in Liverpool, like in regards to defense. But I started watching Liverpool. I could remember when Gillespie, Gary Gillespie, and
Yeah.
and Hansen playing together, and we had Ablett as a left back. We had Steve Nicol, the crazy guy, as a right back. What a player Steve Nicol was, though.
Nickel and Abler, some boys.
Oh, Ablett, yeah, God rest his soul. He passed away, didn't he? So yeah,
Yeah.
And then we had Staunton after that.
He was,
Yeah,
he's one of the last players, isn't he, to have played for both
clubs.
mates?
Yeah.
And he lives on as well in popular Scouse culture. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
if you know
There's
this,
no one that
but
hates him on both sides. Yeah,
a slang term for a tablet is
Yeah.
in like let's call it a recreational tablet for the sake of the viewers at home.
Yeah.
A Gary Abler is often used as rhyming slang for pills, and so that he just kind of lives on in that sense, even the younger generation who won't watch
he's a legend,
them.
man. He's a legend. I've never seen Everton fans hate him. I've never seen Liverpool fans hate him.
He's loved by everyone in the city.
Everybody,
He's absolutely loved by everyone in the city.
After that, we had
part of the 1995 team that Everton won the FA Cup with, which reminds me, for any Blues that might be watching this, since 1995, yeah, I haven't won a trophy.
I remember that. I think it was it Ferguson playing for them at the time. Paul Ryder, I think Paul Ryder and all these guys. I remember. Yeah. Well, listen, Ablett, man. And I remember like after that it was Steve Staunton. I don't know if you know Steve Staunton.
Yeah,
he was our left back, and David Burrows. There's Rob Jones. There's so many players, man. Steve Hartness, Stick Bjornaby. I don't even know how to say his second name, but yeah, Bjornaby as a left back as well. Yeah, we had so many good players, but there's no one like those players from the 80s, in my opinion. They're still my favorite. They're still my favorite team.
Well, the silverware shows it, doesn't it, mate? The silverware just shows it.
Bro, it was like watching Brazil. It was like watching Brazil, bro. That's how good that team was. Peter Beardsley, John Barnes, John Aldridge up front, Ray Houghton on the right side, inverted right. Oh,
it was only the other day. I was watching some of the old.
Watch them. There's a game I'll tell you. But I watched over 1 billion times. Forget million, billion times, and I kept on going back to it. It's Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. The 5-0. Watch that game.
Yeah.
Then you'll see why I love that team.
It was on LFC TV. They were interviewing Aldridge and everything. And that was, we were watching all the old Liverpool and Forest highlights and everything.
There's a guy called Dave or something on YouTube that has the full games. Check it out. I'll send you the link. He's got all the Liverpool full games on there, and I watch it on there. I used to have cassette players in it.
Yeah.
So I used to watch it on that. I bought the actual cassette and I used to watch it on that. But yeah, there's a guy called Dave that's on YouTube. You can watch it on there, man. The old games. But yeah, it was like watching Brazil, bro. It was so good, mate. So good, and I miss that team. Every single time people told me about teams in the present and the past, I always go back to the 80s team. That's my favorite. 87 to 1990. That's the team. That's my team, bro. That's my team. So defensive midfielder. If we don't get anyone in, who's your defensive midfielder, bro?
This is the tricky one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Tricky one. See, for me, a lot of people might say Alexis McAllister, and I understand that argument. I really understand that argument. But for me, you've got to kind of play. You've got to kind of play them in the best positions for me. And when we do bring one in, if we bring one in, it's a double adaptation period. Then McAllister has to adapt to being further forward.
Yeah.
And the new defensive midfielder has to adapt to. Obviously, he has to adapt because he's coming into the club.
Yeah.
So for me, you have to put your next best option there to McAllister or Szoboszlai, and for me that's Curtis Jones
in the defensive midfielder role. Yeah,
and that's only because if you put McAllister there, he has to adapt when the defensive midfielder inevitably does come in.
McAllister can play there. There's no problem, mate. There's no problem.
Yeah, I know, but he'll have to adapt to play in his next role. Yeah. That's all it is for me. So I'd rather just have them two kind of do what they do.
Get used to their regular role until you can utilize them in different positions. I understand.
And just put your next best option there in Jones. Obviously, if Bichetic was fit, I'd be saying him. Yeah. Because he's a naturalised defensive midfielder, but he's not fit. I'd consider Thiago another one that's not fit. So for me,
It's the first game of the season, isn't it?
It's whittled down to Curtis Jones for me.
Yeah. But the thing I'm trying to say is forget about. I'm going to discuss that on Friday, in the preview, the starting lineup for the first game of the season. But I'm talking about in a season as a whole. If we don't get the players through the door,
so if we don't,
and everybody's fit, who's your defensive midfielder? Is it going to still be Curtis Jones? Is it going to be Besetic, or is it going to be Thiago? Who's going to be your if
in a world where everyone's fully fit? I'm looking at Bichette.
Okay.
I'm looking at Stefan Bichette.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't transfer it in a good way. Okay. Sorry.
I think people are really overlooking this kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Technically sound, bro. It's typical Spanish
He's so
player.
intelligent as well.
And he's learning from Thiago at the same time as well. I mean, hey. What more can you say?
I've had a lot of people kind of turn their heads as if to say, "What are you talking about?" when I've said this. But I can see in a world where we do have a proper defensive midfielder and we need a backup for that inverted role. Stefan Bichette can do that. I think he's played centre back in the academy as well.
Yeah.
So his versatility and his intelligence, he's played as one of the 8.
He needs to build up, though, don't you think, though, Harley? He needs to build up, get muscles and all that stuff, so he can bully people.
But again, I think that'll come with age, and growth, because his bones and his everything still have to fully develop.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I agree. I remember when I was a player, same thing. The right side of the midfield, who are you gonna put at the two? Because a lot of people say to me, Szoboszlai play on the right and McAllister play on the left. But I thought because Szoboszlai's game is all about shooting and his ability, he'd be suited to the left side, so he could cut in and start doing his his shots from outside the box. Because I think Szoboszlai is the one that can shoot from distance a lot. Don't get me wrong, McAllister does his own things well.
And another reason why I'm kind of inclined to sort of agree with this is because a lot of people will talk about you need balance, don't you? And I think Szoboszlai is more of an attacking threat than McAllister. So having Trent, Szoboszlai and Salah all on one side, while having Robertson.
It's all about the partnerships on the sides. You're right. You're right. Actually,
so it's all it's lopsided, isn't it? Whereas I feel like
because in the old days it was partnerships, isn't it? Like Salah, Henderson, and Trent, and Matip, wasn't it? Now you got it's all about the partnership on the wings. So if they all complement each other, then the perfect old machine will happen again for the second stint. You know what I mean? So you're right. Yeah, you're 100% right.
So that's just my opinion. I feel as though the balance would be better with Szoboszlai on that side, and obviously the element of his ability to shoot from distance.
Exactly, bro. That's what I meant. I mean, but people have their own opinions about it.
I understand the argument for the other way because Szoboszlai is more naturalized to the right side in terms of where he's played in the past. Yeah. But I think we kind of take players and we mold them into our own kind of thing, don't we?
Yes, sir.
So that's why that's why I'm kind of happy to have him on the left. And I've seen that a bit in pre-season as well. They've all played a little bit of everywhere, haven't they? But I've seen probably more so Szoboszlai on the left and McAllister on the right when we've had this the fittest team we can possibly put out. 100%. Because they've only played together once or twice, haven't they? But I believe we were playing Szoboszlai on the left quite a bit. We interchanged it throughout the game, but...
So, JK is saying, pre-season, obviously, now the pre-season is done. Who are your front three and midfield three? So we already discussed the midfield three. This is Harley's one. I'll put my one later on, no problem. Versus Chelsea. So we'll discuss that at the end of the show versus Chelsea. But we're just giving you formations that we could do during the season if everybody's fit. You know what I mean, we could play like four at the back with 2 pivot midfielders, 1 behind the strikers. You know what I mean, we could do things like that. So we're just discussing it in that way at the moment. Yeah, but at the end we'll let you know who's going to be. We're going to do it on Friday's show as well. So don't worry about that, JK. Yeah. Thanks for the comment. I'll get to the other comments as well by John and everybody else. Thanks for helping us out in that as well, guys. So this is your if everybody's fully fit and we haven't made any signings, this is your team, yeah? Like in midfield and defense.
Yeah.
So who would be your ideal front three, brother? Like from the left hand side. Because a lot of people when I talk to people, a lot of people vouch for Jota. Let's say instead of like Diaz or Gakpo, because we've got players that can play in that position. Like Jota can play there, People don't know, like Soboslai can play there, McAllister can play there. So we've got so many options for the wing positions, mainly on the left. Not a lot of players can play on the right, of course, but mainly on the left. But who's your choice on the left?
It's so hard for me. I feel like it's going to be one of them things that changes based on form. And so this comes more so based off pre-season form. It's Luis Diaz for me at the minute.
Okay.
It's Luis Diaz for me. I feel like he's played.
I think, you know, we could discuss Luis Diaz. Like, you know what's frustrating me about our fan base about Luis Diaz is, like, a lot of people are having a go at him. They're saying he's not good enough. He's not, like, you know, there's always a comparison with him and Mane. He's not the same as Mane. They're two different players. He can score goals. He can dribble and all that stuff. He's young. He's fresh. I mean, he had a serious injury not so long ago that he's recovering from still till today. So give him time, man, and he will shine through. Don't forget, last season he scored 14 goals for Porto. The season he arrived, he scored 14 goals before January, and then he came to Liverpool. And then, you know, like, he showed, like, that quad season we nearly won it because of, like, his performances on the pitch. So he can show that he can play for Liverpool Football Club.
He come in and he's injected.
He just transformed us. He
injected the energy that was needed into that team.
Yeah, so we need to be careful how we go on about things, man. Look at the bigger picture. Don't start judging players straight away. You know what I mean? He had a long-term injury last season. And
I feel like he can play
didn't have a full
so well in terms of... So, kind of... I feel like he can draw two players towards him, and his dribbling ability he'll draw them in to the wide areas. Szoboszlai in the half space, feed him, he'll be open. And thing is, he'll draw in the two players, right? And either Szoboszlai will be open, or the space will be open for Szoboszlai to play into the forwards. Diaz is one of them players who he just draws men to him, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
His ability with the ball at his feet is nothing short of magical, and that's why I feel that he can offer a lot in terms of creating space for others. It's not always about goals and assists. I've seen so many people on social media, particularly Twitter, say if he doesn't get X amount of goals and assists, he's got to go. That's just so daft.
I can't believe when I hear things.
It's so daft. Like, it's not always about stats, goal and assist stats every day, is it? It's just constant. No, I don't like that.
He's a constant threat. That's what he is. And people forget that before the injury against Arsenal, how well was he playing, Harley? How well was he playing, mate? He was playing pretty well. So he was getting into this group. He was becoming consistent.
Crystal Palace at home, first home game of last season.
The sending off, yeah.
When Nunes got sent off,
he woke up.
We were 10 men. We were a man down. He come and he just banged it in from distance. Tottenham again. We didn't quite, when we were charging for the quad, he come in, he got an important equaliser in a game where it looked like we were going to get beat, and you can make an argument we deserved to get beat.
Yeah, it was
he come in and he secured the point for us, and ultimately it wasn't enough to secure the league title we were desperately looking for, unfortunately, but it kept us in the race until the last day of the season.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people really underappreciate him. I think he's a fantastic footballer.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% right, 100% right. Who do you think is going to play in the middle? Who do you want to be the main striker?
It's another tough one for me. If you're asking me over 38 games, I say Darwin Núñez. If you're asking me based on current form, I'm leaning more so towards Diogo Jota, because I just think he's been phenomenal this pre-season. But to be honest,
me too.
So Darwin Núñez. But then you've also got the argument of Cody Gakpo, haven't you? It's so hard. I'm thinking Jota at the minute.
But a lot of people are thinking that. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I think about 70% of the fan base think Jota should be playing because he's been phenomenal during the pre-season. A lot. You're not the only one, Harley.
Yeah, it's going to change for me on form and on what we need in terms of getting past the defence. If we need to draw players in with the false nine, it's Gakpo. Yeah. If you want someone who can run off the shoulder and be dangerous and be that threat in the box, you're looking at Núñez. If you're looking at something in between, you've got to consider Jota. Yeah. And so the thing that separates it for me is form. And so if I had to choose the team right now, gun to me head, it's Jota. But for me, this is so difficult.
It's difficult, but I like it though. I like it, bro.
I love this. This is so good. This is the opposite of the defensive midfielder problem.
Yes,
it's heady in the sense of we have so many good options. It's almost impossible to go wrong.
Game changers, bro. Game changers. The game is
And-
difficult. You could bring all of them on. Just get the
And you can-
goal.
exactly,
Just
you
get
can
the
bring
damn
them
goal.
off the
0-0. Last
You can
minute.
stick
Get them all
in the
on.
midfield, mate, and just
Yes, bro.
yeah, I love it, mate. I absolutely love it.
JK
Yeah.
says Trent established his game at right back. We miss his and Salah's threat from the right side as well. Keep him at right back. That's what I said, bro. But a lot of people, especially like Harley as well, they advocated for him to be inverted. I think like there's too much space on the right side. If we had a competent defender that can do both, then it would have been right. But I think Konate's game gets affected when he's playing, as as a centre back and a right back at the same time as well. So it's a bit difficult for Konate. If we had like a Van Dijk type of playing on that side, then maybe Trent can play that inverted right side. But like I said in the beginning, Trent doesn't need to play inverted anymore because the concentration levels, like he's not going to be doubled up on anymore. Now we've got McAllister and Soboslai instead of like let me show you again. Instead of like people going here like with two people going for him. Now look, players can focus on McAllister. He's a threat now, and then you got the other side as well, Soboslai, Robertson. So these two, like Robertson and Trent, they got more space to run into, the more space to create chances, more space, to play their old games again, if you know what I mean. Because I miss that. That's what I miss. I know a lot of people enjoying this inverted right back and inverted left back position things, but I miss the creative side of Trent. I miss the creative side of Robertson because I haven't seen that for a long time. Them two switching the ball from one side to the other, things like that. I want to see this stuff again, bro. I don't know if you missed that, Harley, but I miss this, man. The team playing with confidence. That's what I miss more than anything, bro.
I hear that. I absolutely hear that. I just think Alexander-Arnold, in terms of his confidence and his ability to create play in that inverted role, is where you'll really get the best out of him.
I know what you mean.
If you want to do the thing where
don't forget, he was voted the best right back in the world a few times playing right back. So he's not that bad at right back.
No, absolutely not. He's world class wherever he plays, mate. But I just think the inverted thing it's such a good balance between the two things.
It's a good option. It's just an option.
He's still a right back in a sense, that sense, isn't he? Like in defensive transitions, he's still running out wide and he's still dealing with the left winger man to man.
Yeah.
But it's in terms of where you can get the most from him in terms of on the ball.
Yeah.
It's there. It's in the
So let's move on to Salah. Obviously, this is the front three you want. Let's move on to Salah. What do you think of him, bro? Like a lot of people already talking about him. I keep saying a lot of people. Our fan base are saying I'm sick and tired of seeing him in the touchline. He should be playing more inverted and scoring goals from there. What I've said is Salah, I love him, but he's aging. You know what I mean? So we need to more concentrate more on the younger players to become better in their positions. So when he leaves, he left Liverpool in a good place. Salah ain't got more than 2 years left, bro. Let's be realistic here. Next season he might be going to Saudi Arabia. We don't know. You know what I mean? Money talks, bro. So we've got to think about it this way. Henderson. Fabinho, you know what I mean? We didn't expect these players to go, but sometimes, for the good of the team, these players leave, you know what I mean? Because they want to leave their football club that they put on the map again in a good place. You know what I mean? They don't want to be the full focus anymore. So with Salah, do you want him to play the way Klopp wants him to play, or do you want him to play the way the fans want him to play? Like the Salah scores about 30 goals a season, coming from the right hand side, shooting in the top corner. Or do you want him to be the way Klopp wants him to, which is like a team player, creates chances, scores the odd goal, and things like that?
I think we probably are looking at somewhere of a balance between that, in the sense that he's probably our best finisher, isn't he? He's
100%,
unbelievable.
Bro.
It's ridiculous. Like, I think it's often understated how good Mohamed Salah actually is. But I find something really interesting, and it's pre-season. Take it with a pinch of salt. That's what I always say. To always take
100%,
especially the negatives, but also the positives. You have to somewhat take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah,
I believe it's 2 goals and 7 assists this pre-season.
Wow.
So that shows it's something like that anyway. So that shows quite a big ratio of assists to goals. Whether that's it's a small sample size, so maybe it's you can call it somewhat.
Do you like it like this though? The way if it's like that, if it's going towards that direction.
I think his creative ability in general is massively underrated.
Underrated.
And it's not a problem when the centre forward is kind of doing the job they're meant to be doing. So I think it will depend on who his partners are, on how much you'll be doing 100%. That. If he's got a Darwin Núñez through the middle, he'll be creating more because that's just naturally what he'll do for an out centre forward. If you've got Cody Gakpo, you'll look at it having him cut in and running behind a bit more and directly go with the goal. And then
Gakpo is amazing, mate. I'm glad. Do you remember about Gakpo, bro? Do you remember about Gakpo? Not so long ago, we was the advocate for him on this channel when everybody said he's not good enough and all that stuff, and we were saying, give the guy a chance. He just walked in through the door. You know what I mean? He's got a long way to go. And they were already like trying to get him out the door. I said, like, the fan base, man, sometimes, man, I can't defend you. I honestly can't defend you. With Salah, what I see Klopp and Pep Linders are trying to do with him this time around is become more of a team player than, the player that scores all the goals and things like that. So I like that. I'd rather have a team performing on the pitch than individual only doing things. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So if we do it as a collective, we will win more games than we lose, in my opinion. So if we're all connecting on the pitch, the right back connects with the right winger, the right back the right winger connects with the midfielder behind him, like McAllister, things like that. If we're all connecting some way, somehow, I think we can win more games than we're gonna lose. I swear. No joke about that.
I agree, mate, and that's what I think is really going to help with this midfield. I think a lot more assists are going to come from there.
Yeah,
and that will benefit Salah as well, because even though Salah's in these more kind of creative areas, it only takes a killer ball from a McAllister, a Szoboszlai, or even a Curtis Jones if he's playing there, or even a Harvey Elliott if he's playing there.
I think Harvey Elliott is going to be Salah's backup this season. I honestly think that.
Yeah, him and Ben Doak are going to kind of do that, aren't they? And I think this could.
Wow, I haven't put him up, but Doak, bloody hell, in the preseason, bro. God damn.
Naughty player.
God, he doesn't care who you are, mate. He just goes up. Oh, I love players like that. Yeah. So, and with this guy, what hopes have you got for him this season, bro? People have given up on him already. So, give me something.
Think, other than Mohamed Salah aside, I think he'll get more goals than anyone in the team. I think it'll go Salah for top scorer for Liverpool, and then Núñez will be not too far behind him.
Harley, don't you think it's a good option to have an out-and-out number 9 instead of like the same type of player on the pitch? Like in certain games, you could have an out-and-out number 9. And now, like if you look at Núñez, as we discussed earlier, he's working on the off-the-ball work, which I'm an advocate for. Off-the-ball work is the most important work in the team. What you do off the ball, positions you take, the way you retrieve the ball and things like that is the most important bit in the team. Yeah. And that's what he worked on from what I've seen in the preseason.
I think he's also healthily unselfish as well. I think at times he looks for a pass as well. And I think
because he wants to be part of that team, innit? That does that.
People don't give him enough credit. I don't think a lot of people just see him as an out-and-out number 9 who runs a lot, but I think he's a little bit more than that for me. Obviously, his best attributes are his work rate and his positioning, which leads to goals. But ultimately, for me, it's very, very underlooked how he can help in the sense of creativity. I'm not saying he's exactly prime Zidane or he's going to be getting as many assists as the midfielders or Alexander-Arnold or even like Diaz, but okay, I look at some of the preseason games and think, he's really looking to play people in here, and it's kind of, I like that mentality.
And that's what people were criticizing him for last season. Don't forget, bro. Like they're saying, he's not keeping up with play. His passes are all over the place. He can't control the ball. And if you look at him preseason, he's improved on all of that. That's what I said to you guys in the past. I said he's working on the basics of his game. Like the difficult bit is putting the ball back of the net, and he could do that with abundance. You know that he could do that anytime he wants. And his running ability, he could outpace many defenders in the world of football as well. So the basics, which is controlling the ball, passing the ball, and making the right choices, he could work on that. And I think he has done that in preseason, in my opinion, bro. And he's going to improve. I'm telling you right now, guys, Mark my words, over 20 goals this season. He only scored what? He scored 14 goals last season playing from the left wing, covering for Diaz when he was injured majority of it. So I expect him to score over 20 goals and then improve on that season in, season out, and become the player we all want him to be. Yes, he's not the finished article, but that's what Klopp bought. So trust in your manager. Your manager believes in him. Why can't we believe in him? He gave him the number 9 shirt. You know what I mean? Our favorite player was the number 9 that left. So yeah, give him a chance, man. Give him a chance. Harley, I want to save, the formations that we could play in other games for another time, because we've gone over an hour.
We are, yeah.
What I want to do in the next show is like we could play 3 at the back with wing backs. We could play like double pivot in midfield with a number 10 playing behind the strikers. We could talk about things like that in the next, because I want to do this 2:30 thing or 2 o'clock thing on a regular basis with you. So if you're up for it in the near future, as you can see, we've got a lot of viewers as well. Let's do it, bro. Let's do this on a regular basis. You don't have to be just for back formation. We could discuss like something you want to discuss, because I know you do a lot of analytic and all that stuff as well. I know that's what you study.
Oh, I'd be massively up for it.
Yeah, you could put something like that on there as well. Let me go in the comments before we get out of here, bro. We've been in it for over an hour, man. Oh yeah, John Conway says Ronnie Whelan was some player. With Ronnie Whelan, John, a lot of people used to underrate him. Like the way they underrated Henderson. They didn't know how good he was until he didn't play for Liverpool. That's how good Ronnie Whelan was. He left a big hole.
Another player like that who a lot of people, it was very polarising, but ultimately underappreciated and overhated, Lucas Leiva. Dirk Kuyt was another one who I feel like if this generation of kind of people who criticise players on Twitter a lot were around, it would be like Dirk Kuyt would have got a lot of stick back then.
100%. 100%. Like sometimes, like I said, you don't know how influential that player is until he's off the pitch and he doesn't play or he's injured or something like that. I mean, like a lot of people used to talk about Steve McMahon as being the hard man for Liverpool Football Club, but Ronnie Whelan was the hard man. They just didn't know it. He was the camera wasn't always focused on him, innit? So he was doing some little, step on the toes and things like that, and little challenges here and there when the camera wasn't on him. So people need to understand, man. Ronnie Whelan was a hard man too. JK says Jones for me, not for me, sorry. McAllister in the 6 for now. But this is my team, Harley. Like if everybody's fit and we don't get a transfer in, this is my team. I think Thiago will be great in that number 6 position because with his experience, and not only that, if you think about Thiago being in that position and Szoboszlai and McAllister with him, we will keep more possession than we're going to lose possession, if you know what I mean, brother.
Yeah.
So there ain't going to be a lot of problems.
I really like the flashes he showed whenever we played them there.
Yeah.
So that's more than fair. It's more than fair. I think Thiago, I think he could play a fairly big part for us. It's just a case of his fitness is possibly an issue.
Yeah.
And look, I appreciate that he's turned down Saudi offers and he wants to stay and he's committed.
We need experience, bro. We can't lose a lot of experiences.
Even when it's looked like he's possibly not going to be first choice, which is he's been really unlucky with that because he is quality. He's willing to stay around and fight for this play, and you know what? 100%. I appreciate him for that.
100%, bro.
And I think he could.
I think you know what? Do you know what I think, bro? You know what I think? Sorry to interrupt, brother. I think he's staying because he feels in his heart he hasn't achieved what he wanted to achieve at Liverpool just yet. Yeah. He doesn't want to leave a team because he doesn't. Normally, when he's at a club, he wins everything, innit?
Yeah,
so
league he titles, doesn't. Champions League.
Thank you. That's what I think.
That's what he deserves. And even while he's getting to this age, a lot of people might laugh at this comparison, but bear with me. Mm-hmm. You know what I think of him? I think he could be what a lot of people were hoping James Milner could be in terms of someone who, as he's getting older, can come on, slow a game down.
Yeah.
He's got that aggressive side to his game where he can do a tactical foul, get a booking if he needs to, that experience, that kind of thing. Yeah, I really, really like him as an option to come on and shut the game down for 20 to 25 minutes, even as he starts to get older and maybe not play every week.
Well, the best thing about it is they could interchange in it. They could interchange in it, bro. He could play all across that 3 midfield roles.
That's ultimately the only thing that really lets Thiago Alcantara down is the fact that his body just can't keep up. Because
it's unfortunate, bro. It's really unfortunate.
And it's not his fault. It's just
But the thing is, Harley, like I've always said to people when people challenge me on that, and I said we bought him as a luxury player. We didn't expect Wijnaldum to leave. He played with Wijnaldum for one season, didn't he? So we bought him to be the difference in that midfield when he comes on in important games. That's how Bayern Munich used him. Remember, before he came to Liverpool, Bayern Munich wasn't always starting him. Kimmich and some other players. Yeah, they were playing other Muller and other players were playing in that position. They only got him on in the big games. That's how the Bayern Munich used to use him. So when he came to Liverpool, he's been playing every game, which is going to get injured, especially like you said. It's like Daniel Sturridge. You're not expecting him to play the whole season, are you? He's always going to break that at some stage. So that's the same thing that's happened to Thiago.
And that's where the problem would come in would be with Sturridge when you'd rely on him overly. It was fine when we had the season where we nearly won the league. You had Suarez, you'd have Coutinho, you'd have all them players around him. And then when Suarez left and we replaced him with fucking crap like Balotelli and
Benteke and etc. Redbird says, big up y'all, like American y'all. Yeah, let me just go to the other comments before we go, brother. And then we'll get out of here. We'll be back anyway. We'll be back in the next few days with updates. Big up, Baz. Please go and subscribe to LVFC TV. Baz, obviously, is part of this channel as well. He's always doing some streams with us. So please go and subscribe to his channel. His knowledge about football. You know what's funny with Baz? Like we met here recently, but we knew each other 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Before actually YouTube and that, we used to be in the Facebook groups together. And it's weird. I'm telling you, man. The world is a small place, mate. The world is a small place.
Oh, really?
JK says team so far is perfect. There you go, bro. Like we could come to a mutual ground eventually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Big up, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Let me just get to this comment. It was how do you say this name? Agray? I just say Paul.
Yeah.
I think Mako will slot in as the deep lying midfielder along with Besitic, and Trent slots into as the inverted form box. Oh, I get you. So them three can form a box, okay? Midfield, and creates creates a slot for Gakpo in midfield alongside Dominic.
So
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's Bacheta, McAllister, Gakpo, Dominic as a box, or have I?
I think he means. Hang on, what's Besitic? I think he means something along this line, like something, and then he could free up him. He could go further, so they could form something like this, like along. Yeah. So that's what he means, because he.
That's what I see as well. That's what I think.
And then free him, have a free roll. Remember McManaman used to have a free roll back in the day. He used to run everywhere. You wasn't born. Sorry, my bad. McManaman.
No, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
You know,
McManaman used to like go like that. Let me show you how Liverpool used to play back in the day. Okay, let me show you. Liverpool used to play like this. Wing backs, Bionaby left back, and they used to have Jason McAteer. Sorry about that, Jason McAteer. And they used to have John Barnes and Jamie Redknapp here. And they used to play the strikers like this, basically. So this is how Liverpool used to play back in the day. So double pivot midfielders with three at the back and free roll for this guy. So they had Collymore and Fowler here, and they had McManaman here. So McManaman used to roam around the pitch, go everywhere, get the ball, give the ball to McManaman. Every single time you get the ball, just give it to him. And he will just run with the ball wherever he wants, and he creates chances for the other two. So Collymore and Fowler used to complement each other, and we used to get a lot of goals like that. But the thing with the three at the back was teams found us out because they used to double up on the wings. So when you double up on the wings, they bypass the wing back, and the centre back has to come out of position. So the strikers for the other team, they'll be like this, and then you got the winger going to be on the right hand side centre back. So 2 versus 1. So it was a bad way of managing the team to win titles. That's why I've always said, give me managers other than Conte that actually won with three at the back on a regular basis. They ain't. Ancelotti doesn't play it. Klopp doesn't play it. Mourinho doesn't play it. Pep Guardiola doesn't play it. Alex Ferguson doesn't play. So all the top teams in the past never played three at the back and won titles on a continuous basis.
Yeah.
Because once you find it out, it's not attractive. That's what happened to Conte at Chelsea. That's what happened. Because the next season he got sacked, didn't he? When he won the league.
It very much come from the Italian style of football, didn't it?
Yeah. And because it's different type of football, isn't it? Like you can see that's why Italian players, when they come to this country at a certain age, like 26, 27, 28, they don't perform to their best of their ability because they're used to, like you just said, a certain way of playing.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a while back, haven't we? I feel very strongly that you can't get away with it in terms of challenging for the title. No. Playing that to be 3 or 5 at the back.
But you can't play it. Listen, you can't play it in certain games. You can't play it in certain games.
Yeah, but I mean, on a regular basis, it's fine when you're playing against the big teams. But playing 5 at the back against like Crystal Palace and Burnley, it's out Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea dropped so many points it ultimately couldn't compete with Pep and Klopp when everyone expected them to in that season.
Yeah.
As I say, Conte's Chelsea is probably the only team I can think of that managed to get away with it, and that was quite frankly because the league quality wasn't quite as high, and it's how teams like Leicester managed to win the league in 2016 as well.
Big up Berjan. He says big up the chat and the host. Oh, big up, bro. Big up, man. Please go and subscribe to his channel, man. He's from America. Very, very knowledgeable Liverpool fan, and he's amazing at what he does as well. Please go and subscribe to him if you're new to the channel, and the old people as well. I want to reach out to him and bring him on the channel as well. So yeah, please keep your phone close so I could get you on the channel as well, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate the chat. As you can see, everybody knows him. Harley, so as the season goes on, what are you expecting from the team, brother? Like
in terms
at the end of the season, what do you expect? Like, are we going to be challenging, or are we going to be just off that, like be in the top 4, or are we
I do genuinely believe we can challenge. If we don't get a defensive midfielder though, that will probably, I'm probably more so expecting to be in a very strong top 4 finish, I think. Yeah. But it feels like a necessity if we want to be a top team, doesn't it? Because that's how we're ultimately going to control games, keep goals out, and all of it. So yeah, on the condition that we get a defensive midfielder, I genuinely think we can challenge for the league title.
Yes, Uncle Roz, he says, how's it going, lad? Big up Uncle Roz. Please go and subscribe to Uncle Roz as well. He's got an amazing channel. One of the hardest working people on YouTube as well, man. And he's always on this channel as well. So go subscribe to him. Yeah, I think like if we make the right signings before the transfer window ends, I think we could get up there. We could be up there. It just depends on injuries. You know what I mean? If we don't get a lot of injuries as well, I think we could compete for the title, man. Because like I said, our first 11, what I put up in my one with let me put it back. Sorry, bro. If you look at this lineup, bro, how many? Forget about the Premier League. I'm talking about in world football. How many teams can be better than that?
There's not
in the world of football. Forget about the Premier League, bro. I'm not just talking about the Premier League. Like the world of football.
There's very, very few.
Look at that.
Do you know what I mean?
Look at that.
Like the only ones that there's a true argument for is you're looking at your Man Cities and probably like Real Madrid, and that's probably about it. Like Liverpool, under Klopp, at the best, every player fit, with the players the Klopp wants to have in, dangerous thing, and people are underappreciating it because of the difficulty we had last season. But I think we're much closer than people think to being back to where we belong.
Yeah. Yeah, JK says, yo, play Darwin as the main striker in the middle. That's where he gets all his goals. We all agree, bro.
No
more out wide, unless it's an emergency. I mean, Harley.
Yeah, I'm fine with it on occasion. Do you know what I mean? But I think his best position's through the middle.
Yeah, Paul says Klopp mentioned that we should expect a special formation for the Chelsea game. Yeah, I hope so, man. I want to see something different. You know what I mean? Especially with the players we got that could interchange in every position. Laser says, big up Fozzy and everyone involved. Yes, Mr. Laser, big up, brother. Big up. Yeah, so I've enjoyed this, bro. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I have,
thanks for the chat as well. Much appreciated for coming on. Obviously, it's a short notice kind of thing. But me and Harley, I want to make a thing like for 2 p.m., bro, for just us two on a regular
Yeah.
basis. If you can't make it, I'll get someone else on. I hope you could take that offer as well. But have your side of things as well. If you want to analyze games and you want to talk about it and all that stuff as well, put your input in it as well. So yeah, you're gonna see more of Harley during the nights as well as the days. So please tune into that. He's on. Where are you? In Twitter, right? That's where people follow you.
That's where you can mostly find me. I've thought of making my own kind of YouTube at times, but to be honest, Fozzie gives me the platform I need anyway, and we're building this together. He's fantastic. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to, but Fozzie's the main man. Subscribe to him.
Bro.
Notifications on, the lot of it. Do you know what I mean? Keep up with him. He's a great guy.
Listen.
He knows what
I've always said it. Once you touch down on this channel, you're part of it, bro. I've got no egos, nothing. I mean, we're all together as one. That's how I see us. That's how I remember Liverpool as a Liverpool fan in the 80s till now. That's how we're supposed to be. It angers me like we're fighting off the stream and on social medias and all that stuff. Just find a common ground, innit? Find a common ground. Share your concerns. And then, take it from there. Stop pussyfooting around and, having arguments and, I'm bigger than you, you're smaller than me kind of attitude. Just get rid of it and stop insulting fellow Liverpool fans. If you disagree, you disagree. Don't get angry to the extent that you have to give them personal insults as well. Don't do things like that, man. I mean, this is why I keep myself to myself. I don't really get involved in things like that because it's unlike Liverpool fans. Listen, 44 years old. I've been a Liverpool fan all my life. I've seen the good times, I've seen the bad times. And what I see in the modern day is not the Liverpool way. It's not, man.
It's not, at times, social media in general, it's just not a good place to be. And I advise anyone listening to this, if it's really, really starting to get to you, either block what's bothering you or just switch it off. Switch it off, do something else. Do something you enjoy and something that's not going to make you angry or upset you, because ultimately it's a cliche, but life's too short to just sit there and be upset and be fuming for too long.
It's a game at the end of the day, Harley. It's just a game. It's not life and death.
It's a game at the end of the day, and ultimately as well, at the end of the day, it's just some sad helmet on the other end of the screen who's, if they're going out of the way to give you abuse, that probably says more about them than it does you 9 times out of 10.
Just don't retaliate. The best way of making them feel small and angry is for you not to say anything. Like that song goes, you say it best when you say nothing at all. I mean, that's it.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of debate. There's not sometimes things.
Yeah, but the insult. I'm talking about the insult kind of things. I
know. I understand that. I'm not on about that. Disagree with people respectfully as you can. I understand things get heated sometimes, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if people are calling personal and people are just don't bother with it. Don't
retaliate.
That's Paul says, that's anyway, because I honestly, it's like you might think I'm a hypocrite if you see some of the things I've been up to in the past, but honestly, once it gets to a certain point and it can no longer be a somewhat healthy debate, just don't bother with it. I say
exactly, bro.
And that's my bit of advice to anyone who's
big up, Harley, man. Big up, bro. Paul says, guys, smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Paul. Honestly, it's the first time I've seen you on the channel. I appreciate that, bro. You're gonna get more of this. Like I said, it's coming back to a regular slots again. We've got the 2 p.m. We've got the 9 p.m. as well. So yeah, just keep it up. Just hit that notification bell, which will alert you every single time we're on. If you can't be on the channel as one of the guests, just be on the chat. Support everyone as well, guys. Like there's Berjan, there's Laser LFC, there's Uncle Rods, there's there's so many Baz, there's so many channels that's Liverpool based, and they are great content creators. Please go subscribe to them, man. Go Uncle Rods, like I said, like this guy is amazing, man. Like we talk off air a lot on the phone, and he what he does for people, what he does is get the community together, and he's got a WhatsApp group that we're all in, and he makes sure everybody is noticed. So please go and subscribe to him and support him on his watch alongs and his chat shows as well, man. He's amazing. He's an amazing fella. Baz obviously he's always in this channel. He's got his own channel. Go and support him. You're gonna get a great stream from him as well. Yeah, but yeah, if I missed out anyone, I apologize. It wasn't meant to be this long. We're almost at 2 hours, man. But yeah,
Everyone who
but
sat through it, thank you very much. We
yeah,
appreciate
JK
it.
says exactly. LFC family got no time for agendas. Yeah, sorry, agendas. 100%, brother. The modern day football fan is was it says Sharma. So I say Shar. How do you say that word? Sharam. Oh, Sharam on the old school fans. Of course not. Mate. That's how it is. We're different. We're different, mate. We're different to other
Yeah, 100%.
other fans, because like we've got the calm influence instead of like the influence of like being angry all the time. We
Yeah.
have our moments, but we forget about it. That's the
Again,
best thing
mate, it's
about us.
cliche, but you'll never walk
Sharam,
alone.
yeah.
It's not just a song or 4 words that we just throw together for the sake of it. It means something.
Yeah,
To
100%,
me, it
man.
does anyway, and I think to the true Liverpool supporters, it does as well.
Yeah,
But
100%, brother. Yeah. Embarrassment. Sharam, he says embarrassment. Yeah, JK says 100%, bro. It is embarrassment. We should not actually fight each other the way we do now. Like, what's the difference between us and Arsenal fans in the modern day? There's no difference, is it? Like, we're doing the same thing as AFTV. Like, I don't want to say their name, but those people from there are doing at the moment, and we need to get away from that, because we're supposed
yeah,
to be, different. We're supposed to be the standard. We're supposed to be the leaders of all the other fans, and if we show them weakness, they will like clinch on to that and try to use it against us as well. So yeah, just get away from things like that. That's me done, guys. That's Harley done as well. Like I said, just hit that notification button, hit that like button, and hit all that good stuff, and see us in the next stream. Could be tomorrow, it could be today, it could be any time as well. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Harley, don't go anywhere.
I always forget, don't I?
He always goes